to a very special edition of I Have Something to Say. And this is a celebration of Salud and Tom. It's a celebration for the life that he lived and the effect that he had. And I am so proud that Salud was able to join us. So without further ado, I just want you to know, Salud and Tom, you both impacted my life. You have brought me so much joy when I was depressed or sad, when I lost both my parents. You gave me so much encouragement to continue to be strong. And I said to Jerry and Carolyn, who are also joining me today, I don't know that you know how much effect you had on this entire community, you and Tom. So without further ado, Salud, welcome. Jerry, welcome. Carolyn, welcome. We have a bunch of guests joining us. So Jerry, if you would take the lead role, I'm going to put the comments up and we'll just have a discussion. Salud, I love you. And we're all praying for you. And so if you just take it away, Salud, and I just want to listen.
Well, right before I was just sharing that I knew Tom was declining, and that's why at the end of December, I went ahead and decided that I was going to sell the condo. Well, you know how it is getting ready, to sell, and I had planned that it would be done by the end of January. Well, that didn't happen. And so February 7th, I actually had booked at a hotel near us so that I could keep going back and forth to the house. And I told Tom, I said, and I started crying, but I thought, I'm happy that I'm leaving this place. And I said, Tom, this is the last time I'm going to be wheeling you out of there. And you guys, I will cry, but I told Tom all the time, I'm the biggest crybaby, whether it's happy or, I cried at our wedding. But the thing is that we've been surrounded by so much love and support and prayers. And that's why I kept on saying, you guys, yes, we had to socially distance, but we did not have to socially disconnect. And that's the beauty of Facebook streams, connecting with people virtually and getting to know everyone that way. I've shared that you all have become family. Mm-hmm. All your love, prayers. I haven't been able to comment on everything. It's like, oh my gosh, it is overwhelming, that part. But the thing is being able to do a quick voice thing or a heart, whatever, but just know everyone that that Tom is still with us. And I'll keep on with the story of, just March 2nd, we left the condo for good because he was in the carport, because I couldn't bring him in, and he was really getting very weak at that time. And when we were in Cathedral City, and I did some lives from there, but actually we always do our lives, which I will continue. I told him, and I started sharing this with you guys, that I threatened Tom. I said, don't you dare end up in the hospital down here, because I am still going up to Napa and you're going to be down here. So he really
You didn't.
like, okay. And all the way up, he was like asleep in the car. That's why it took us hours, because I had to keep on taking naps coming up here. Because the night before we left, he was Mr. Houdini. And so he lived to his name all the way through. And then the past week, starting really Friday, March 19th, I really thought I was going to lose him then. That's why I did that live. So if anybody needs to catch up on everything else, because some people are shocked. I started preparing. I've been prepared because I've seen and I know when it started. So really, from the time that he was in the skilled nursing facility in November, December, January, November 2019, and then all the way through February 10th, 2020. I have to remember we're in 2021. But anyway, he was compromised there, and I was there 18 hours a day. And there are a few times that I had to leave town, but I couldn't protect him. And my brother, who is a doctor, because Tom ended up in the hospital very busy. And my brother said, Salud, this could go south at any time. I knew that. So we've actually had him for another almost year and a half. And really, March 31st, 2015, when he had his massive ischemic stroke, he had it just after we'd gone to bed. And he started slurring in his sleep, but he was saying and talking, and I said, hey, are you having a bad dream? And I poked him and I said, you're not drunk. And I turned down the light and I went, oh no. So I told him, sit up, raise your hand. He couldn't smile, say a sentence, whatever. I went through the whole thing. I thought, wow. So he had that massive ischemic stroke. Everybody at the hospital said, and you didn't listen to him, because he said, just go back to sleep. I'm tired, but it was slurred. And I said, no, I knew he was having a stroke, so he was again there. We could have lost him then. And he showed his determination all throughout. And I've been I'm a teacher, so I documented everything. So I had daily, I gave an update on what was going on at the hospital. Throughout until I started being live, I had videotaped. I have so many videos of him throughout his journey. And when Jerry and Barb Wald met us August 2019, Jerry was shocked. And I think I scared him, allowing Tom to transfer himself into the car. And really, by the time we got up here and we had our second COVID vaccine, so I'm so, Tom said to me the other on Wednesday when he was transferred here, and I was making some goofy noises to him and everything, he goes, you're weird. So now my niece Michelle keeps on saying, you're weird. So all throughout, even towards the end, he was still teasing me. But um, but March 13th, when I was putting him in the car, it was very hard. And I'm strong, and I knew how to transfer him because at um, Rancho Los Amigos uh, acute rehab, they made sure that I knew how to transfer him in and out of the bed, in and out of the shower bench, in and out of the car, how to even change his trach. And thank goodness they did that because Mr. Houdini pulled it out like the second night he was home. And
Oh,
the
wow.
caregiver was watching. Oh my gosh, Sue, he just pulled out his trach. So I calmly got everything together, So anyway, all throughout, I have those. So I will be sharing. So he has not come back to life, guys. Okay. So I will be sharing videos, pictures of the past. And
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Salud, very few people have the strength to do what you had done. So where did that come from? Was it in your upbringing? Was it in the fact that you were a teacher for so long? Where did you get that intestinal fortitude and to be able to do this in such a positive way? I was just amazed.
It's a combination of a lot of things. I did share my first live here in Napa, the adversity I'd gone through when I was a toddler. I had a crazy mom, and literally, I could have died because of things that she did. Um, so I hid a lot of things throughout, but I also come from very strong stock. Okay, you got it.
It's all good.
Combination. So look at that live. It's November 1st, I think, on my personal profile page. Then, as a child, I was a happy kid. They called me the laughing hyena because all I did was laugh. So and that was from my family calling me that. We always um, prayed for company and parties and everything because that's when my mother was on good behavior.
Mm.
Then as I kept on growing up, I was surrounded by a lot of very positive people. And in my 20s, I started doing a lot of personal development, reading books, listening to many of the greats and everything. I also had I have fibromyalgia.
My mom did too.
Yeah, so I was sent to a month of um, whatever it's called.
Rehab?
Well, sort of, yeah. It was
Physical therapy?
everything. It's anyway, I'll remember what it was in a little bit. Anyway, I had physical therapy, occupational therapy, biofeedback, psychological therapy, psychotherapy. I was also tested with a neuropsychologist many, many years ago. And my dad was a child psychologist, and he always said everybody should see a psychologist at some point in their life. Well, I happen to have psychological help for many, many years. So they knew I was crazy, but no, I'm kidding. But anyway, so all of that, and one doctor actually, because I became very depressed, and I am I have clinical depression. I know many people don't even get it. I knew it. My house was a total wreck, by the time we were leaving, because that was the least on my totem pole, especially with Tom. But the one doctor said, at least you can still walk. And I thought, what because because I was a runner, I skied, I hiked, I did all kinds of things. And all of a sudden there were some things I could not do anymore. And so then I started teaching. Well, I was teaching in the classroom. And when I left the classroom, and I had so many wonderful children there, and they're connected with me on Facebook also. And right now there's one in particular that calls Tom and myself Lola. And she's been taking care of everything for me down in Southern California. Patty Franco.
Mm-hmm.
And all of her cousins and everything. But they were all cousins when I was teaching them until way later. And I thought, oh my gosh. Anyway, but then I started teaching home hospital. And I had many children that passed away. And I've shared some of those stories. So that was another lesson in my life of taking care of people, children, and learning from them. So I've taken every single lesson in life and really became part of me. And I think, and I've always thought teachers were born to be teachers. There's some that shouldn't be. Some of them are tired and didn't tell anybody. And that's in any field. But I knew I was born to be a teacher. And I'm continuing that. And like I told my family last night, I said, to continue this with this community, and I am being coached and by a wonderful coach, Fraser Brooks. And so he said, find something to do in a Facebook Live. And whatever it is, it doesn't have to be part of your business. It doesn't have to be anything. It's what's your passion. And that's when I started doing Qigong on my Facebook profile. And then in mid-April 2020, I thought, wait a minute, I do this with Tom. Why don't I start a page and do it Monday through Friday? And in the beginning, it was only a half an hour, and so that started the Tom and Salud's Real Life Redo. And I've always said, when Tom had his massive ischemic stroke, he wasn't the only one that it affected. It affected me also. I always traveled, always. Even when I was teaching the home hospital, we were year round at that time. So I had children from the beginning of the school year, and then they would be coming in at different times. Some of them would be traditional. So it was really, managing all kinds of schedules and times. Yeah. But so I called my schedule Salud's, because we had track A, B, C, D, and it was Salud's track, because I had to make sure I took my time, but I also had to make sure the children had their time. And so in between, I was able to schedule times to be gone, to take care of myself.
Yep.
And so
so many people don't do that.
Right. And people said, take care of yourself, all this. And I said, do I look like I'm haggard? Do I look like
Salute.
No, you don't ever.
I take a shower in the morning, put on my lipstick because in 2016, I was always afraid of tattoos. I had my eyeliner tattooed on and everything. 2016, boy, oh boy. Then so it's like, okay, my eyes are seen, my lips, I do get dressed,
And you do snow angels in the lobby.
That's true.
and even with Tom, it's I always tried to groom him. And thank you, Jennifer. And Jennifer and her husband actually have been here at the Meritage Resort and Spa. And it is our home. Even though he had his stroke here, we kept on coming back. And really, he had his stroke March 31st, 2015. He came home on September 15th, 2015. By January, he made his first car trip with me with one of the caregivers. I did have caregivers for about 2 or 3 years of the 6 years, probably 3 if I look back. But I thought that was costing a lot of money. And
Yeah.
I thought, I could do it myself. So I became his 24/7 caregiver. And it's okay because I've always been used to, do I look like I don't sleep?
When you think about it, anytime I do a live, somebody will always message me, "Are you okay? Your smile didn't reach your face." I said, "Oh my God, my smile didn't reach my face." So I don't know what to do. So sometimes people just are concerned about you.
They're projecting themselves.
I don't know.
To thinking, oh, would I be able to do this or something? And then thinking maybe it's you. So you know what? People can be haters. Oh, well. And I just move on and do my thing. My dad always called me a recalcitrant because, yeah, I followed rules to a point.
Good point.
Sort of.
Yeah,
Sort of.
maybe.
If I like that.
That's
He gave up on me. He gave up because he knew, and I was telling my niece the other day, I said, I actually had good training as a child. You learn everything as a child. And I shared, because as a Filipina, and growing up in those days, we, many, even living here in America, had to have chaperones.
really.
Yeah, I never did.
know that.
And some families were warning me and saying, you need to be careful. And guess what? They were all the ones that had chaperones and they got pregnant. Hello.
That's amazing.
Oops.
All of that, and I had my grandmother. She was the rock, the everything of this family. I'm not going to share who our one side of the family is in Spain. He's dead and gone right now, but she was first cousins with him, and we always called her a little dictator because even when I would visit, and one time she told my one cousin in San Jose, come and pick up Salud and a friend, take them to your house and give them lunch. Well, on the way down, we saw a mall and we're going, let's stop at the mall. And this is when we were in our 20s. And my cousin said, no, Lola told us to take you to our house. I said, she won't know. And she goes, yes, she will. And take us to the mall. And I thought, oh my gosh. So she had that kind of, so that's why when I told Tom, don't you dare end up in the hospital. Yeah, I have a little bit of my grandma, my Lola in me, but in the classroom, I always told the children, this is your classroom and we're supposed to have fun. But these are the boundaries. And if they were being rude to each other or anything like that, or too loud, because we had groups and things, people would walk by my class and they'd look in and they'd say, oh my God, you guys are in here. And they were working in groups and everything, but they weren't bouncing off the walls. We did other activities in there that they could have, but they also knew, wait a minute, we can't be, killing each other. So I guess that was the little dictator in me, but they
No.
no, they knew that it was done with love. They knew that there were going to be consequences. And they knew that we could have fun in that classroom. And even in the home hospital, when I started doing that, they knew they had to be, especially my high school ones, they knew they had to be responsible for the work that I left them. And everybody had, I was a mess at home, when I'm depressed, but I'm very organized with the children, with that, and even, with Tom. He knew, he knew that he needed to do his exercises. And the times when we had the caregivers, I left them a lesson plan. I told them that I don't do this. Make sure you're working with him. Make sure you're correct. And I modeled for them also. But they had their work, and they also had their rest time. In the beginning, Tom was put to bed to take a nap until I thought, well, he's taking a nap sitting up anyway, so he doesn't have to go into bed, So he learned from me that you can take a nap standing up, which I have done,
Salud, can I ask you a question? How did you start this courtship with Tom Williamson? How did it start?
Well, we met in 7th grade. We were boyfriend, girlfriend for a minute in 8th grade. And I've always told him, because he was ladies' man, but he denied that. And he said, it's because your dad scared me. And I said, what? Because our home was always the party home. Our home at that time, when my parents were still together, and some really good friends of ours who were in the Navy, they would come, but they built a Nipa hut. A Nipa hut is those homes on stilts. I wasn't spoiled. No, and everybody, I think, probably thought I was, but it was all show, on my mom's part, right? So anyway, this Nipa hut was big enough for 6 adults really to be in it. So it wasn't a little thing. And it was on stilts. It had the little rooms. It had so anyway, there was one party, we'd have the party in the garage, music, dancing, whatever. And it was a corner home. And so we had a lot of property there. In LA, you don't really have, like in some other states, you've got all the land and everything. But we had a good sized place, and people would come, the kids around, and Tom all of a sudden disappeared, because he would walk me home and all this. Well, that's why I said a minute. And then we went to the same high school for a couple years, and I have a picture of him surrounded by girls. And Then he left our high school to go to Westchester High School, which was just behind our high school. And we lost touch. And he got married twice. And I never did. And then at the 40-year high school reunion, one of our friends organized that they would get the 7th and 8th graders or the visitation school together at that high school reunion. And that's where I re-met Tom. But one of our friends, all of a sudden I heard her say, "Salud, Agustina, Celinda." And I thought, who the heck knows my middle name? Turned out to be Jane Ash. She's got a different last name now too. But anyway, she said, and I said, "Oh my gosh." And she said, "Salud, in first grade, you made me sit there and repeat your name until I got it right."
Imagine that.
Yeah.
I know. I made her keep on saying it. You're going to keep on practicing. So that's spaced repetition. But, that was in first grade, and here it's 40 years after high school.
Yep.
And she still remembered my name.
Wow.
Gosh. Anyway, so of course, and there were pictures, and I would share those pictures with a group of people, and Tom and I always ended up next to each other somehow or another. And we friended each other on Facebook. He never commented on any of my posts, but his wife of 30-something years passed away. That was 2010 when we had our 40-year high school reunion, and she passed away that June, I believe, of 2011. And in 2013, when he was ready, he called me up. He called me up and asked me for help for another reunion. And I told him, "Good thing you asked me for help, because if you had asked me for a date, I would have said no." So, and I kept
roll like that. Uh-huh.
It's like, no, really, I didn't like dates because I went out, but you come with my posse of friends, because if a guy, I always thought that people would be on good behavior, on a date, and but with all the friends and everything, I always traveled with a group. So it's like, okay, come on, even here, the place knows that, it's not going to be just Tom and myself. It was going to be with a whole group of either family and friends and everything. So anyway, that's how it started. He asked me for help, and then he did call me. I was in Virginia at the time, and I said, "I'm out of town." And he says, when are you coming back? And I said, "I'm coming back on such and such a date, but I'm leaving the next day." So he thought that I was just, brushing him off. And so, and Delia is from Ireland. Thank you, Delia. So anyway, it was really, it was meant to be, because then he said, "Okay, well, when you get back, I'd like to take you out to dinner." Now, this was after we had already done the planning of the reunion. And I don't think I was there for the reunion, the grade school reunion. So anyway, when I came back, I did call him. And we went to dinner, and he almost killed me because he cut off a bus. He goes, "Oh my God." But anyway, we had dinner. It was nice. And we'd known each other really in 7th and 8th grade. Thank you, Farron. Keep the memories alive. And actually, today's poem is going to be a recording of Tom doing memories. I look back, and on December 29th, I am a little anal that way. It's like, okay.
That's Laura's birthday.
December 29th.
Mm-hmm.
Well, on December 29th, 2020, Tom, on that Facebook Live, he did memories. Oh no, it was a recording because he was in the hospital or something. He couldn't, I mean, whatever. Whenever I had a recording of him, it was because he couldn't do it or he was in the hospital. So he must have been in the hospital or something. But anyway, I can't remember why he wasn't on there. But on that date, I have a recording of him doing that. So it will be a recording of Tom doing memories today. And I know we're supposed to really, like, something that's past is past, but I am going to keep those memories alive.
Yeah.
I am going to share our life. I am going to share our travels before he had the stroke. It'll be just whatever I can read. But the thing is, there's coffee in that. Yeah, there it goes. My cousins are here. Come here, you guys. Come here. This is my cousin Connie and her husband Carl. My cousin, come here.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey guys,
Hi, nice to meet
how are you guys?
Nice to meet you too.
Thank you.
Yeah. So they actually live in Pacific Beach now, and in December, in San Diego. I guess Pacific Beach. Where's Pacific Beach, you guys? Anyway, we were supposed to. Tom and I were actually supposed to be at our timeshare at the park, and everything shut down again here, and so we weren't going to be able to go to and we were going to just stay home. And Carl knew, and then Connie called and said, "You've got to come and spend Christmas with us." And I said, "Okay, we'll come Christmas Eve and Christmas Day." And then we stayed an extra day. And and that time Tom was on antibiotics. So that's why probably. So anyway, now come on. So anyway, he's the one that, and they were the ones that stayed with us in. Look, see, I dwarf all my cousins. They're all the ones that grew up in the Philippines. Anyway, that's okay. Now she's standing on her toes.
Yes, I am.
Be comfortable. So they were the ones that spent a couple of days with us in Cathedral City, and she's the one that said, "This will probably be the last time that we see Tom alive."
Yeah.
And that was
Cathedral
Palm
City.
Springs.
Cathedral City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Springs.
Palm Springs.
So what countries are you guys from?
These guys are from this country.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes.
All is Mr. Everywhere Man.
Well, yeah, by way of.
Carolyn's in New York.
New York. Yeah.
And Jerry Wald. We were very fortunate to have met Jerry and his wife in person. Everybody else, you are very real to us, okay? But Jerry and Barb were in Dana Point. And
I see,
so we got to stay down there
Uh-huh.
at the hotel they were at, and we were able to meet them, and definitely will be continuing.
Salud.
Huh?
Casey said hi. I just wanted to acknowledge her, and she said hi to you. So
And I love Sweet Casey.
I know.
And her mama bear.
Oh yeah. For Tricia, it's a hoot.
Yes.
Oh.
And and just all this, and Michelle Renee and everyone that you're showing right now, and aloha to all of you. And Tom will be saying aloha again to all of us.
Yeah.
And so that's it's just that's what's also helping, and that's why on the Saturday morning when I did the Facebook Live, you all heard him saying, "Thank you, I love you, all of you."
Mm-hmm.
And then by that night, he was struggling. And I said, I'm sorry, you're going to the hospital. And so really from the 20th, oh, Tiffany Crawford from OKC.
Yes.
And Tom actually went to OKC for our convention there and something else. But anyway, 3 times. And so from January 2016, he'd been traveling with me. We even went to New Orleans, NOLA.
Yes.
Yes.
Nola, my
Yeah.
hometown.
Yep. And we went, we stayed near the convention center, but I would take him by the wheelchair and wheel him down to the French Quarter and several times. And he even got to sit with me in the different restaurants. I got to eat. He didn't. But
Did you go to Cafe de Monde and have some donuts, powdered sugar, a little chicory coffee?
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I'd been to NOLA several times, before Tom, but he did make it there. He went to Houston with me. He went to Dallas. I drove when we were in Houston. Yeah, when we were in Houston, we drove down to Galveston, and then he went to Utah, to Tennessee, to Virginia,
Wow.
New York, Hawaii twice.
Wow.
The last time was he got released from the skilled nursing facility on the 10th. I told him that date because to give them time to arrange everything else.
Mhm.
And I told him because on the 12th we're flying to Kauai. So he was able to go to Kauai right before COVID for 2 weeks. We celebrated his birthday down there. We met some new friends down there, and they've been in touch.
Wow.
And so, it's
You make friends everywhere you go, Salud.
exactly.
Can I ask one thing? Carolyn, you shared, asked for me to share a story for you because you wasn't able to attend happy hour. I
Right.
stirred it all up. Can you share that story?
Well, I don't remember the exact words, but
I was
I
very emotional.
I understand. Yeah, basically, I just feel so loved and accepted by this community and hope that I'm sure I'm not the only one that feels that way. And things about watching Tom and John, especially together, and Tom and Salud and their relationship just really were inspirational to me and just kind of emblematic of this whole community of survivors. And every time I would see that smile, he just lit up this, well, for me, the screen. he lit up my computer monitor. And I just felt like this whole thing was just so real, even though we only know each other virtually. I mean, Tom affected me so much to the point that I have not seen my mother basically for more than an hour in like a year now because of COVID. And she came over yesterday or Saturday, and she was here for a few hours over brunch. And I was telling her about Tom the whole morning, like he was part of my life. And I just felt that, everything you did with him, you never minimized him, never felt like there were limitations to what he could achieve or where he could go, literally and physically, right? And also sharing this whole end of life journey with us. I just thought that was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen, because this is the reality of life. And it's not talked about. And I think about it a lot in survivor communities, because we're always like cheering for people who lived and got better. But not every story ends that way. And I just think the way you did everything was just tremendously loving, beautiful, kind. The way you told him, you'd be okay, and all those things were just such a model of humanity and love and dignity. And I just was so affected by the whole thing. I love you guys for doing that for everyone. Thank you.
Well, thank you, because I thought, gosh, but I felt it was so important for me because I know that a lot of people, because of all the messages anyway throughout, that it was important for me to share these last several days. And I will continue because, he is here. He will be definitely all the time. And even with the children that have passed away, they've been my guardian angels all throughout. And one family and I shared that because she was, the mom was right there. And she had other children, and then they had a baby a few years after the little one had died, Ruby. And they taught me, because so many people, all of a sudden the pictures disappear, everything, and they don't talk about that. And then even family and friends don't talk about the person that passed because they're afraid of what to say. And I learned through Compassionate Friends, because I took a friend, Esther Coolian, because her oldest son was killed by a drunk driver, and he had two teenagers at that time, and I'm part of that family. And she was like a surrogate mom to me. And so when he passed away, he died instantly. She wasn't driving anymore at the time. So for 2 years, I took her to Compassionate Friends every first Thursday of the month. And again, there's that other lesson of how to deal with death. And these were parents talking about their children dying at whatever age. And one couple lost 3 of their children in a fire.
Oh, my.
So listening to them and crying with them for 2 years, and then continuing on and being able to, with our family, it is a celebration, definitely a celebration of life, because yes, we cry, and I shared last night on that goofy Facebook Live. It was less than a minute and something seconds, my shortest.
Yeah.
But right before we were doing our rosary, and their daughter, my niece, Catherine Jan, we went outside because we had 2 iPads going on, and we were, it was like, oh boy, we can't be in the same room. So we thought we'd go outside, and I thought, oh, okay, here, let me do a Facebook Live. And we do a rosary for 9 days, 9 nights. So family from the Philippines, back east, Canada, all around the United States. We're getting together at 7:00, and today is our 4th day.
4th day.
Yes, our 4th day. And so
I love that.
yes.
Yeah.
So we're all together, and of course, Catherine, Jan, and I were being goofy outside for a little bit. It's like, oh my gosh. And I'm texting Amar, who arranged this whole thing, because, I have family that they're all capable of just stepping right in. And Connie, and you did one too, right? A decade, yeah. They did a decade of the rosary, and some people messaged, I'm saying a rosary right now. So anybody that does that, if you want to join us at 7 p.m., do it, from your home. You don't have to join us on the Zoom. But Yes, he is at peace. He earned his wings on Friday, and actually another friend just posted that her mother passed away on Friday, February 26th. I mean March, February, March.
Salute. I wanted to have Jerry say a few things and ask a few questions. I would have never met Salute and Tom without Jerry. Jerry has impacted my life in so many ways. The first thing I heard from Jerry was poor Tom, and I didn't know why. So maybe he can explain that.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty funny story. Because I always, when Salud does her lives, Salud, we always used to say Salud scares me because she doesn't let Tom, she makes him accountable for everything he does, as you all know. And he's he just to go back one thing, that Friday, when Tom passed, it was really emotional for me to listen to Salud tell me that
It's okay, Jerry.
caressed your face and your hand that day, that night. It was that really got me. But I always said poor Tom because you didn't let it define him. You made I always said you scared me. Because, Tom, he had no chance of getting away with anything. And I really had the best time. We spent 2 days together, the four of us, in Dana Point, Southern California. And we had breakfast, lunch, and dinner together. And you wheeled him right in there, navigated through the restaurant, and we had the greatest time. And he was so alert. He was so funny. And when you asked him to get in the van, he got in the van. You did not help him at all.
Oh.
He scooted himself in, and I was a nervous wreck wanting to help him. But you were behind the wheelchair, not like there. He got himself. So he to me lived a great life. He was very passionate, you can see, with everything he did, and he loved you more than anything. I mean, to see him at the end of his I don't know, his life, to caress you that Friday.
I mean, wow.
That just, we talked about it together, Salud and I, and it really was a beautiful moment. So I really appreciated everything that you and Tom did for all of us, this whole community. And I think I've known you for more than 3 years.
Yes.
It has to be. But we've had a great relationship.
That other group.
That other group, I don't know where it is, but anyway, but it was beautiful. So I really appreciate you've done and what you're continuing to do. And I know everybody else feels the same way. So I love you, Salud, and you mean so much to me. So thank you.
I just want to say that we feel kind of strange being here without Tom, because we're so used to having him around. We miss him, but in a way, we feel like it was for the best that he left. So although we miss him.
Yeah, and he's in no pain.
Yes.
Exactly.
He left on good terms.
Yes. Yeah. So
Well,
yeah.
Salud, one thing that your cousin just reminded me of is, I think one of the most important things is the ending is just as important as all the little life steps.
Yeah.
And that you were able to see and recognize it's time to come home to your home away from home in Napa. And I mean, the fact that he was so comfortable to let you be there for him. I think when people, this is my belief, when people have a longer time, they can choose to let people be with them as they pass and go through the journey, or else some people separate and want to do it themselves. And I think the love that he shared by letting you be a part of that journey for him shows how much he loved and trusted and knew you had the strength and the love to be there for him at that time. And I think it's beautiful.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
And-
And I'll just say
Go ahead.
I was just going to want one thing before I forget is you've impacted so many people. Even my mother.
Yes.
I know my mother too.
My mother in California, my sisters, my brother in Ecuador, and my whole family here, Cassie and Don and their family, when they heard it, we were home here and we all said a prayer. And it was really meaningful to all of us to get together, to see what an impact you had on all of us. And you did say, and we all knew that he was a ladies' man I mean, what a good-looking man he still is. So
I kept telling him that you're very handsome.
yeah, oh yeah, my daughter,
Beautiful smile.
Yeah.
yes, he does.
Yes.
Yeah, beautiful smile. My daughters always said he's such a good-looking man, and
Yeah.
Margaret said everybody. So we were all lucky to have him in our life.
Yes.
So thank
His
you.
$1 million smile is still smiling upon us. And
Oh yeah,
I just want to share, yes, it was Thursday night when my niece set off the fire alarm. That he perked up. I mean, he woke up actually, and it's really so wonderful that he was able to wake up because of the holy spaghetti sauce, because I poured the in it, and it really is two popes, because both popes are alive, and Trinitas Sellers, the Bush family is very, very Catholic and connected with the church and everything, and the beautiful chapel that's here, and also the resort saying, the thing is, I talked to the manager and I said, hospice, he'll be here. They said, no problem. They said, I did a live and the engineer on whatever night, but, they're coming in and greeting everybody, and Rico was, and they moved the furniture here in the living room to make room for the hospital bed. And so, Tom was here for just a very short time on hospice, and but Thursday
Salute.
Huh.
I thought it was so funny when you said the coroner can wait.
Yes.
Just, I just couldn't believe that you said that. This classic salute.
oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing a live. You can wait.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then telling my one cousin, can you go up or message, Amar? And then I saw the niece, Michelle, the one that set off the alarm the night before. And then she goes, my spaghetti gives life. And Matt, who's a dear friend, and he's a winemaker and everything, and he said, it's holy spaghetti sauce. But yes, it was that night. It was Thursday night that Tom actually, and I have a video of that because people were here, and I have a video of our good friends that we met in the tasting room a few years ago, and they lived nearby. And every time Tom and I happened to be up here, and even March 9th, I messaged Bruce, and I said, Bruce Chen, I said, hey, we're going to be there March 9th to May 1st. He goes, that's funny. We just checked in. And so they were here on March 9th, and then they came back for Bruce's birthday. And so they were leaving on the 26th. And I messaged him Tom has made his transition. And Bruce's dad just passed away in January. So anyway, they came right up with a bottle of Petit Verdot. We toasted Tom and with our glasses over him. But Thursday night when he when we were all able to say our goodbyes to him, I did videotape Bruce leaning over, and I got a sort of a hint of what he was saying, and he said, "Don't worry, we're going to be here to take care of Salud." So everybody was to say goodbye, and then they videotaped me talking to him, and that's when he was caressing my face and my arm, and then I leaned down to kiss him, and at one point I was still talking or something, and he actually lifted up his body from the bed and to kiss me. And then I was able to give the little syringes of wine, me and my syringes of wine. So he got to have some of the wine with us.
Holy wine.
Yes, holy wine. But, all this, yes, that's Laura Messner.
Hello.
All come. So anyway, the whole community, and I saw Janice saying that she was here in the room, and that Tom and John will find each other, and I really do believe that, all our loved ones are waiting for us. And I had told Tom last week, I said, you better be ready to exercise. So he is exercising.
See, poor Tom.
Poor Tom.
Right.
Who can't get away permit anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, I know that, I need to get my thing ready for 9:30, but
I know.
I will be doing the recording of him of memories from Yvonne Kent Pateras. And that's why I messaged Yvonne saying, and that I was so grateful that I had seen her interview with Mark Garman. And that's why I always share all the different pages and, and be positive. We have enough negative stuff. And yes, there are going to be the haters.
Mm-hmm.
Let them be haters, and the ones that are going to spread the love, kindness, and joy, embrace them. And also know that, yes, I'm going to have the tears, it's like, okay. But I cried at my wedding. And I told Tom, I said, oh gosh, when I start doing this, we did our own vows. And I said, when I start this, I'm going to start crying. And there's a picture of him hugging me, and I'm actually crying and laughing at the same time. And we did have a luau at a park, and it was called the Reunion of Love. And we had about 350 people there. The dinner dance was 100. That was Saturday night. And then Friday, he had a golf tournament. And I do have hopefully a towel for, oh yeah, I shared it on the thing this year. He did a whole golf bag for all the participants in the golf tournament. And so he that's what he loved. And I have videos of him in the Paragolfer and then also at Next Step LA, and there is one in North Carolina, Raleigh, I think. Anyway, and he's putting, standing up, and Joel was standing there next to him, not really holding him, and we never used a gate belt, except for sometimes they did. But you know what? And I love it. And I always tell people, yes, I know you guys have appointments and everything. Just go #replay afterwards. So anyway, the thing is that I showed how much progress he made. And if it hadn't been for that one incident that I could not protect him, that was the beginning of his decline. So we actually had him for another 1.5 years I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that I recognized in December that he was going to be, leaving us sooner than what I wanted. I couldn't change that, doggone it. But, we were up here. We were here in our beautiful place. And I told the manager, when we were arranging how we were going to move the furniture and everything, I said, he had his massive ischemic stroke down the hall. He's going to make his transition in our unit. And everybody knows this is my two-bed.
Yeah.
It's a timeshare. They can just put us anywhere. But she says, yes, Salud, we know that that's yours. And then our good friends, Bruce and Joyce, they used to get this unit and they thought, how come we don't get it all the time? And then they realized, oh.
Salud.
and then another friend, Marina, texted me another time and she said, we're in your unit. And I said, yeah, because I'm not there. So anyway, the place knows that this is our home,
Salud, I just wanted to thank you for the whole community and thank Tom as well. I know you have to get ready for your show, but I am so blessed that you decided to come on the show. This last 10 days, I have been really sad, but really happy that Tom is no longer in any way depressed or anything, because he's happy and he got his wings to go home. You're going to be joining him, and thanks for sharing this part of your life with us. You made such an impact.
May I ask Laura for a song?
A song.
Oh, nice.
Song.
Amazing Grace.
Sure.
Is that going to be okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that spared a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see.
Thank you. And here we are. Whoops, I can never find.
Oh,
In the Grand Canyon.
That's beautiful.
Ladies, man.
ladies, man. And you didn't have to steal shoes from Tom,
Thank you for being here, and thank you for this special tribute to Tom.
Yes.
And
Glad to meet you all.
You too.
You.
and I am going to be surrounded by family. The Salundas. We're crazy.
Yeah.
And Carl just said, "Isn't that the truth?" But just know that we love you all, and you are all family.
Yes.
And Tom is here with us,
Yes.
and thank you.
Virtual
Share
hug.
this content. Share this content from Tom and Salud's story, please. And Salute, I wish I could give you a big hug. We all do. We wish we could have been there with you. Oh, thank you very much. And when I finally get to meet you, I fear I'm going to hug the skin off of you like I did Casey. So you have impacted my life in such a profound way. And I just wanted you to know that for all of us, thank you.
And thank you.
So we'll call it a day for now, and Hope is on the way. And take care and be blessed. And if you need me for anything, need Jerry for anything, need Carolyn for anything, or Laura, just call.
Thank you.
Bye.
Absolutely.
Bye-bye.
Yes.